Hello and welcome back here for game number 5, where OpTic Gaming square up against 100 Thieves. Now, for 100 Thieves fans, it has been a turbulent road, to say the least. After an explosive entry into the scene last year, a last-place finish in spring of 2019 would be devastating for any fan base. How would I know? Well, I happen to be very close to one of their biggest fans. My own mom, Mama Flowers, has weighed in on how 100 Thieves have been doing throughout their history, and to best chart how the split has gone for her and for the team, I'd like to share some snippets of the conversation we've had over the past few weeks. Now, starting off here, you can see the beginning of June, the beginning of summer split. 10th place is no deterrent for the true fan. Okay, new split, new team, let's go. Go 100 Thieves. She's excited for the team and what they're going to bring to the table here in summer. However, she's not a blind fan. Things go south a little bit there on Saturday, and she says they're not even putting up a little bit of a fight. You can see Homer Simpson going to sleep here. Mom feeling about the same, as the Thieves were not showing up too hard on the Rift. She's optimistic again on Sunday, but is once again left disappointed by the Thieves' performance. Now, moving forward even further into the future here, you can see this is where she's once again, even after the week of disappointment, saying, all right, let's go 100 Thieves. Today is their day. Let's do it. She also gets a little bit of education here as to what a Poro is and how Sejuani is able to ride them in her holiday skin. And then we go down here into more Poros. And hey, good to see the Thieves putting up a fight instead of giving up. That's the kind of improvement we want to see, making plays happen even if you don't get the W just yet. Moving forward yet another week, she's starting to lay down a little bit of demands here. It's time for the Thieves to secure a win, get ahead, and actually take that one to the enemy nexus. You get the patented hell yeah must run in the family. This one here, I don't know what this is. We got to be happy about those things. Those are good things. Skarner being locked in again. And you can see as we went further, she actually called both the 100 Thieves over Cloud9 and OpTic over TSM surprise wins. She also called Golden Guardians upsetting Liquid, but hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Pretty good there for her. And a freak tier pun down here. We're just going to dismiss that one. Go to the next image, showing even more of her fandom for the team, even more so than her fandom for me, because I said 100 Thieves probably wouldn't be able to make playoffs on this or that, and she said she hopes that I'm casting the game specifically so she can watch me eat my words. One more slide we got coming up here shows her most recent opinion on the Thieves, which is that, hey, even though they went 1-1 last week, the game that they lost was up against our best team in Team Liquid, and they made them work for it, and she's happy enough with that. There were even a couple typos in this one. That's the passion we're looking for the fandom, for the teams. And as 100 Thieves go into this match, I hope they can continue to improve, if only for their biggest fan, my mom, so I can get some happy emojis in the text messages instead of some sad emojis. Now, are your buddies blowing up your phone with LCS reactions to 100 Thieves or whoever their favorite team is? If they are, post your screen caps and share them with LCS Official at LCS Official on Twitter. Please edit out all the numbers to avoid trolling your pals. You might think it's funny, but they probably don't want 1,000 different spam calls, and we don't want to be responsible. So take care of that one, and now we'll see if 100 Thieves can deliver as I send it over to the casters for Game 5.
Thank you very much, Captain Flowers. My biggest takeaway was that your mom calls you Captain. That's weird, because actually my sister has called me Freak my entire life, and now I understand it wasn't with the PH in front.
Why are you thinking Captain Flowers? Thank his mom.
Thanks, Captain
She
Flowers,
was the whole
Mom.
segment.
That's true, but he delivered it so eloquently. Either way, it's time for the starting lineups on stage. Selecting blue side is OpTic Gaming. Their top laner is Dokla. We're gonna go to the jungle first. Meteos in the jungle. Mid laner is Crown. Arrow in the bot lane with support Big. Coaches Zabutin and Croissant.
Nice.
You do that every time, so I had to match you.
Do not do it like that. Loading up on the red side, it's 100 Thieves. In the top lane, Fake God. In the jungle, amazing. In the mid lane, Ryu and support will be Bang and Afromu with coaches Prawley and Joseph Jang.
So this is actually, I think, a very exciting matchup right now. OpTic are in playoff position. They do have the chance at holding on to that right now. Golden Guardians lost earlier in the day. They are in a good spot to keep that going. The 100 Thieves side, though, they are on the up and up. They're 3-3 with Ryu. And it feels like, to me, in this split, a sub-500 record will make playoffs. I actually think that's going to be true at the end of the day, that an 8-10 team is going to be 6th place here. That's how I feel the league is going right now. And so 100 Thieves actually not that far off from making that record happen. I think they can make the climb here.
Yeah, I definitely think it's possible. When so many teams are trading wins, you know, it's not as though the top 6 have stacked up this monumental lead. It's very, very close between, you know, 6th and even last. So 100 Thieves certainly have an opportunity to continue climbing up in the standings. And, you know, they had strung together 3 straight wins, but last weekend up against TSM and Liquid, very tough opponents. They did lose both of those. And the question is now, you know, was that just kind of because they're playing against some of the best teams in the league, or was the 3 straight wins a bit of a fluke, you know? And I'm really interested to see how they're going to perform against OpTic, because I do tend to believe that 100 Thieves is getting better.
I think they're getting better as well. It's going to be an exciting matchup here as we are into the picks and bans already. And you can see support ban, Xayah ban coming out as well. Karma and Sejuani, no big surprises here either. Of course, it's going to be the first regulation match on 9-13 for both of the teams. And it's always exciting to see if they ever have new stuff cooked up. We saw the Jarvan support earlier, for example. I think that's always pretty exciting.
Yeah, we definitely have seen some pretty creative stuff here today. And last weekend as well, honestly, you know, seeing some Yasuo bot and Syndra bot and various things like that. Kind of making their way into the LCS, but you know, these were not kind of some of the teams that were doing the really crazy stuff, so I am expecting more of a continuation of the kind of standard play that we have been seeing. But Bang and Aphromoo have been playing a lot more aggressively, and I think they have been playing better, and that has been somewhat of a catalyst to their renewed success.
Definitely been a big deal. I think Arrow's been getting a lot better this split as well. He was a very big pickup when he came in. His first split in NA, he was an MVP. Got, I think it was 3rd place with his squad. Phoenix won back then, and it was a solid run. And now looking, I always love that Dokla hovers Wukong for Alorum every time. I think it's always a nice shout out. He'll pick up his ear though. Even though Corki is still up to match the scaling matchup in the mid lane, you can have Crown on a late game carry.
Yeah, the mid laners that I've talked to do kind of prefer the Azir side of this, feeling that you're going to be able to have the push in the mid lane and be able to poke out Corki, you know, make it kind of tough for the Corki in the early stages. Of course, I think it is a fairly even matchup and very skill dependent, but we will see if Ryu is going to kind of handshake on that scaling matchup. He is a Corki player and kind of always has been, so I wouldn't be shocked to see that, but there are always some of the other answers, you know, trying to go a little bit more aggressive, trying to go for roaming styles and trying to kind of put the game at a pace that Azir has trouble matching.
Absolutely the case here. So Jarvan going to be picked up, and he's definitely can be a high tempo jungler. We saw actually how well the early game went just in the previous one when Cloud9's Jarvan got several ganks off in the early game, just weren't quite able to convert. 100 Thieves going to grab more hard engage, more frontline as Nautilus is grabbed up now. Very likely for Aphromoo. We've pretty much only seen Nautilus as support, so expecting that one there.
Yeah, very interesting. Grabbing that Nautilus really early on. Maybe getting paired with the Xayah. I have seen that combo quite a lot, and we have been seeing... Oh yeah, Xayah is actually banned out, my mistake. So interesting to see where they're going to go. Perhaps something along the lines of Lucian, you know, could be pretty good. Callista can be a good aggressive option as well if you want to go that sort of a route. Yep. The respect ban of Draven has already been thrown the way of Arrow, so you know, maybe you deny a little of that lane power from OpTic and try to go for it yourself.
Part, I think, the point of that pick as well is it takes away Big's most played 5 Nautilus games compared to 2 of Yuumi. Definitely seems to have a very focused champion pool where he always seems to want the Nautilus, at least as long as Yuumi is banned away. So it will mean OpTic to show something different in the support role. That can certainly matter as well, and it looks like none of the teams actually care that much about Sylas. It'll be the Jarvan and Rek'Sai as the respective junglers here in this game.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. You know, Amazing has been playing a decent bit of Jarvan. This will put him as the most played, you know, tied alongside Sejuani. Rek'Sai here for Meteos, a bit more of an aggressive look. It's actually his first play this split. He has been kind of more on tank duty and performing, I think, very, very well with that. You know, Meteos certainly has been one of the standout players for OpTic. I think that him and Crown have been, you know, really carrying a lot of kind of the load here for the squad, and the rest of the players are certainly playing well around them, but you know, they have been, I think, what a lot of their games have been coming down to.
Okay, so looking at the draft so far, we do have matched up mid laners in Azir versus Corki, and as we've kind of mentioned, you tend to favor Azir there in the matchup. No seeming counter pick there for 100 Thieves, just going to take another scaling champion themselves. Also, junglers grabbed up, Jarvan first dibs, Rek'Sai matching that one, but then it gets a bit more differentiated. You've got a Nautilus support on the one side, Aatrox top on the other, and now it means you've got desynced roles there, so I'm expecting some more support bans, and 100 Thieves actually choosing to not ban him. And double check on my client, that is indeed a no ban.
Yeah, we'll find out very quickly if that was intended or not. You know, sometimes the teams, you know, are just too slow to actually lock it in, and that can count against them. But if it was some sort of a client error, then we will obviously be fixing that.
Wait to see what's coming out, but looking at OpTic Gaming side, and with that graphic going away,
probably gonna
I'm kind of expecting a different look here. So we'll see what it is they wanted to do, if it was just being slow or what, but we'll stop down and show you champ select again when it comes back up.
Yeah. Usually I don't believe we'll actually reset if they were just slow. I think they actually will just lose that ban. So it had to be some sort of a, you know, sometimes the teams will say that it's a laggy client for lock-in or things like that. But either way, assuming we are restarting, picks and bans will be the same up to that point. And I do think that, from 100 Thieves side, I was kind of expecting more marksman-style bans, targeting Arrow. You can look at that, or the support perhaps, the desync there, trying to get some sort of an edge on the bottom side. I mean, if you want to play Nautilus, you want to play aggressive, there's kind of the two sides of the coin. Do you try to deny the supports that stop your engage, or do you try to take away some of the ADs like Ezreal who might be able to play more safely around it?
All right, word I've got in my headset was client issue and remaking champion select, so seemingly not human keyboard error interface, so it will be just when we get back into this one. The 10 players are in the lobby, so as long as we have all the spectators and referees and stuff that we need, we'll be okay. We'll see when that comes through, but it shouldn't be too long from now. And yeah, I am curious what comes through. As you mentioned, marksman bans seeming to be likely, as you're looking for ways to make that Nautilus work pretty well. Getting rid of some of the safe ones especially, I think, letting yourself opt into playing against Ezreal probably feels a little bit weak in that case, as, he just gets away from everything you ever do and nothing ever looks good there. But yeah, we'll wait to see what the choices end up being and what the counter pick top lane is going to be there as well. Because once you see the mid laner and you see the jungler, you know that Aatrox for Dokla is for Dokla 100%. And whenever you want, you can grab Fake God's counter pick.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Fake God has been playing, I think, a pretty big variety of champions. We'll see if he has anything, in store for that matchup in particular. I don't think Kennen was banned, but I'm having trouble recalling that specifically. That can be a fairly good matchup if you want to play that into the Aatrox, play towards the early game, and look for that sort of advantage there. Have gotten an update a little bit ago. It was about 3 minutes that we were looking at for this delay before we will get back in.
Okay.
But that was probably about a minute ago, so we'll peg it around 2.
Peg it around 2 minutes. I also heard that all the picks and bans up to that point remain valid, so the first 3 bans, first 3 picks per side, all going to say the same as well. Midos on your screen, player I want to talk about, because I've really enjoyed watching him this split so far. You keep in mind in spring he was splitting time with Dardoch, and I actually remember being on the dive saying I wasn't really sure who would have been the better pick. I didn't think Midos was all that convincing. I think either one would have made the case for him, but I have been all about Midos so far this split. I think he's been absolutely phenomenal for OpTic all split long. They're in playoff position, and they're looking good, and a lot of it's because of him.
Yeah, I think he's been very, very consistent, and he's a player that has been extremely consistent throughout his entire career, right? You look at his all-time record in the LCS, it's a ridiculous win rate. He has been, certainly one of the best performing players for so many years in the league, and I think sometimes because he's not always playing the most flashy style, he can be overlooked at times, but certainly is a very effective player, and what he's bringing to the team, I think, through comms and through experience is extremely valuable as well. Did get word that we are just kind of checking the clients, making sure that there's not going to be any additional issues going forward. They did have a ban that they wanted to lock in, weren't able to do it. So making sure that there will not be any repeats of that issue.
I have a question for you now, as we're talking about Meteos some more, as we just wait for the game to start. What was your favorite Meteos arc? Because there was initial Cloud9, blown out blonde hair Meteos. There was the return with Phoenix One, which is dark Meteos.
Are you talking about his look or like his actual in-game play?
I mean, I think they're intertwined.
Oh.
It's like any anime where Goku just transforms.
I don't even know why I asked the question. It's just dark.
It's always
Meteos.
dark Meteos.
Yeah.
And now, what is this, like regular Meteos now? It's just brunette Meteos?
Yeah, I think this is just like nice guy Meteos.
Nice guy Meteos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we actually do need a term for it. Like, what does this Meteos look now? Because, again, it was obviously Super Saiyan at the beginning with the legendary 12.7 KDA or whatever it actually was. And then, yeah, the Phoenix One Dark Meteos times. And now we're just like journeyman, extremely good jungler forever, nice guy Meteos.
Guess so.
I don't know. At LCS Official, let us know on Twitter. I want to know what your answer, because I have no idea.
I don't really have, a definition for you.
I'm not good at making up names, honestly. I name my D&D NPCs Jeff and stuff like that. I get nothing going. Yeah, I'm really disappointing as a DM, actually, but that's just how it goes.
So why don't you just use a random name generator?
Because that's like another tab I have to have open my laptop, and I'm already juggling too many things.
Time.
Yeah, I don't. Well, we are at a champion select once again. We're out of this conversation. All right, we got the bans and picks coming through pretty quickly here as we do have the lobbies back up. And looks like they have to actually, this is interesting. The client looks different than normal as the bans are coming through and the picks are already locked in. That's a new look for me, but we'll get that up on your screen as soon as we are ready to go onto that side. And the coaches and players get ready to resume where they left off in the picks and bans.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it looks that way. That is a little bit strange, but hopefully we will have no issues. Just waiting on those bans to come through for both sides, and I'm sure we will be popping up Champ Select once we arrive back to where we were in the pick ban. So yeah, I mean, it is not full parity. We have both mid laners locked in. We have a top laner as well as a jungler there for OpTic, and we are assuming jungle as well as support for 100 Thieves. So generally speaking, we are looking for kind of bans targeted towards the pieces that your opponents have not yet drafted, right? That is certainly what you were trying to do. And 100 Thieves do have a lot of engage already with this Nautilus J4. So I'll be excited to see if they are going to try to really emphasize that strength and look for very aggressive sort of draft where they can try to play a much more up-tempo game.
It's going to be exciting to see what they do actually want to go for here as we finally have the last picks coming through. Aatrox just got locked in. The Rek'Sai is going to follow pretty soon after, and then we will get this all back up on your screen. I feel just debated. We're like, all right, picks and bans begun again. I'm like watching them lock in stuff on my monitor, and they're just showing us their faces. I just like when the visual medium, lines up with what I'm saying, and it's just unlucky here. But we are finally into the real phase as the ban phase is here.
There we
go. I didn't actually lie. I was truthful in talking about the tempo on this one. And Tom Kench is the ban. As they already have a Nautilus, they're going to add some support bans.
That makes a lot of sense. Take that Tom Kench off the table, someone who can certainly deny a lot of that hard engage. They already have quite a bit of it. Big has played Morgana. I do think that's another ban that could make some sense if you want to target the support pool. Morgana matches up quite well into Nautilus. It's so easy to black shield the Nautilus ultimate. It's very, very telegraphed ability. Has a long travel time, so certainly something they could consider for this final ban. There is the Kennen ban protecting the Aatrox. I think that makes a lot of sense. Certainly something that is both in Fake God's champion pool and a strong matchup. There are other good matchups, but they're less common in competitive play. We do see some of the other range matchups, things like Quinn, which you never really see, but even Jax we have seen showcase. That can be quite good. We have seen people bringing out Camille, Grasp Camille, even like more top laners are feeling like they want to play for the lane, and that rune is so powerful in that. So it would be interesting to see if Fake God goes that direction.
And there's the Ezreal ban. 100 Thieves are trying to get rid of some of the safety in the bottom lane. So this tells me they're looking for aggro through the bot lane.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, OpTic almost never ganked for top. Actually, Dokla is so frequently left on an island. He doesn't go up there very much. And it looks like maybe the junglers are all going to spend their time down to the bottom lane here, as it's going to be maybe a quite volatile matchup.
Yeah, I think we're going to get Lucian from Bang if that's not banned out. That would be my guess, is you just go Lucian Nautilus, you try to look aggressive, but I do think that OpTic has the ability to go towards something like a Morgana. There are still other safe laners along the lines of Caitlyn, even though we haven't seen it that much. That can be a pretty powerful duo, and I think matches up quite well into Nautilus. So that would be something you could look towards. Varus also can be a pretty strong option, but you do kind of have that added layer of not having a dash, which can make it difficult to actually deal with Nautilus and J4.
All right, well, 100 Thieves first dibs on a marksman pick, and they are going to look for not that just yet, but Gangplank, and I think this actually...
It's got to be a sneaky pick then.
Yeah, apparently it's got to be something a little bit special. I mean, maybe move the Corki around and you're actually playing assassin in the mid lane, but that seems unlikely. But Gangplank's going to match up against Aatrox, no problem. They'll wait to see what the entire OpTic bot lane is and then answer afterward.
Yeah, and they really, instead of actually blind picking that bot laner, they really do want to get a strong matchup into their opponents. So they're going to look to actually pick 4 lane, saving that marksman pick 4 lane for Bang. And there's the possibility that he brings out, a melee champion or an AP champion or something like that.
Yeah.
But this does mean you give over Lucian, right? That is kind of what my expected pick was, and Arrow will be able to grab that away. So he has kind of taken a generally strong laning champion that has a dash, which can help to avoid the Nautilus and so on and so forth. So the question is then just like, what is the pick that 100 Thieves can actually grab here to really try to bully this lane? I think Varus can be fairly strong. It does have a lot of laning power, but Lucian Thresh is a really strong 2v2, and I think that Arrow and Big have drafted themselves pretty kind of bulletproof lane here, where it feels like it's really hard to get a monumental advantage through draft.
100 Thieves going to hope they can be bulletproof here. They're against Lucian with 2 guns. That's going to make it a bit harder here, and 15 seconds to go, and they need a marksman pick, or at least some kind of bot laner. We've definitely seen people try things out. We've seen bot laners play mid and bring out a Zed. We've seen Syndra come down here, all kinds of weird stuff. And Kai'Sa gonna come in as the bot lane. So a lot of magic damage actually on this roster, Kai'Sa and Corki. Corki wears mostly magic, Kai'Sa partially so. Don't worry, Gangplank, of course, quite the threat himself. But it is team with a lot of crowd control. And both Nautilus and Jarvan can set up to get these Kai'Sa ultimates in the backline. They try to assassinate someone like Azir.
Yeah, certainly, not bad. But it's a lot more scaling than I expected, honestly. This is such a late game style of composition. It feels like 400 Thieves. I thought that the last pick was going to be more lane focused, try to give them one kind of powerful lane that they can look to play through. As unfortunately, we're going to have to remake again, it looks like. But, we do have Kai'Sa, Corki, and GP. That is not exactly an explosive early game, right? This is basically all full late game scaling picks on the side of 100 Thieves. And it does really give Amazing a lot of places to kind of go and attack, it feels like. I guess if anywhere, it's probably the bot lane or just trying to counter gank and kind of protect your other lanes. But on the other side, I do think OpTic is going to have a lot more of an ability to kind of play around their bottom lane as a place of power.
Yeah, I think it will look pretty explosive, honestly. It's a very, very good duo. I like that one a lot. You have to respect it a ton. So even if there isn't gank pressure always there, you have to sometimes drop CS because of the threat of a hook, the threat of getting engaged on, or a flash flay. If Rek'Sai is there, it's already too late. You've already died. Nautilus is pretty famously quite squishy in a lot of cases. The actual tank steroids on the champion aren't actually that good. The W shield's actually pretty small on a support budget. You don't have a big armor MR buff like your Leona or something. It's just Aftershock, and if you're stunned, you can't stun anyone back.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of the key thing is, can you get Aftershock off before you actually get CC'd up? Because if you don't, you often can just get straight up burst down. But it does give you a very, very reliable engage. Point and click ultimate is always going to feel really good. Not only on things like the Lucian, but the Azir later on, is going to be pretty nice there. But I do think for Meteos, being able to play the Rek'Sai, I think preferential 1v1 matchup out of the jungle. He has better lanes to play around as far as the ganks. Thresh is really powerful gank assist, both with the Lantern, but also Flash Flay and these sorts of plays. Aatrox can provide, I think, a lot better gank assist and even potential dives that you can look for onto the GP. So I do like what OpTic have kind of done here in the draft. They have a scaling mid lane, but they have kind of these more other points of power that they can play around to get them to that late game. And the question is just, for 100 Thieves, I know your comp is going to be insane if you get to 30, 35 minutes or whatever and you even, but can you get there?
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be the question. Just a quick update on what's happening on stage. Big having issues setting runes means we have all the players log out, log back in, get back in the lobby, and start back up. So ETA about 1 minute until we remake Champion Select. All the picks are valid. The entire game's going to be fine. It'll load right in, but just a matter of kind of redoing that quickly and getting the runes in a good spot. And then we will have our 5th game of the day. It'll be an exciting one, as OpTic are sitting in playoff position. I believe they're just completely alone in 5th right now. With the earlier TSM win and the earlier Golden Guardians loss, they're in kind of that position. 100 Thieves actually only half a game ahead of Echo Fox right now, looking kind of near the bottom, but looking reasonably good, can certainly climb.
Yeah, they definitely can. And as you talked about earlier, the standings are actually extremely close. So it's one of those situations where, you are down near the bottom, but 6th place has 5 wins, right? You have gotten actually 3 wins just in the last couple weeks. So, if 100 Thieves are able to start picking up wins, are able to start kind of performing at a more consistent rate, this puts you, a win here puts you 1 game behind Golden Guardians, right? 2 games behind OpTic, and that's 5th, 6th. So, it's certainly achievable, but it does require consistency.
Then you got to get there. You got to get there with 8 games to play. This is one of those 8 right there. The draft's already been locked in. It's just about playing it out at this point. The lobby has been remade now. Champion Select is going on in the background. This is just going to be all the bans and all the lock-ins coming through. So as soon as they can pick all their champions, then we'll be fine. So once that comes out, we'll be loading in a Summoner's Rift, and everyone should be happy. They're just got to play that out in the background while that goes through.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for that to get going, but it has been a bit of a rough year. Well, certainly quite a rough year, actually, for 100 Thieves, right? So I do think, even if they aren't able to go to Worlds like they did last year, even if they aren't able to make that sort of run, being able to compete for that final playoff spot, I think, is something that is very positive for the organization as far as you are making progress. You are actually, making something of your roster, even though it didn't pan out how you wanted, right? Because the 10th place split finish in spring, I think, was the most disappointing result of any team in NA, given the roster upgrades and given kind of expectations versus results. So, the fact that they are starting to make some things work, that they are, bringing in Fake God and having this young player kind of surrounded by a lot of veterans, it's something that they can at least build upon. And likewise for OpTic, they were the unlucky first team ever, I believe, to actually miss playoffs at 99, right? And I think that had never actually happened before, a team missing playoffs at 9 wins. So, they are certainly hungry to prove themselves and to make that jump themselves.
And I really do think both these teams are poised to make that uptrend right now. Again, OpTic currently already in playoff position. 100 Thieves, I think, are a team good enough to make that run up themselves. Making the tough call of actually benching Someday to put back in Ryu. I know that was a discussion that's being had, is how does a team with players this good possibly do so poorly? When they made the roster updates, they put Bang in, and it was still bad, and it was like, okay, what's really going on? This is kind of absurd. this should work. Why isn't it working? And Amazing comes in, and okay, you give him the pass for the beginning because, well, okay, he's jet-lagged, whatever, but then it keeps being bad and they keep losing. It's like, no, seriously, you have to fix this. I don't care what it looks like on paper. Your team isn't playing well. And making the call of like, yep, well, Ryu was the coach for a while, but we need him back in to be a shot caller. That means we've got to bench Bang or Someday. And when an LCS team says they have to bench Bang or Someday, you're like, wow, something is going really rough right here. But they made what seems to be the right call. They're 50-50 so far with this roster, and it has been upward trajectory. They can definitely make that play happen. The final picks and bans have been locked in, and we are loading into Summoner's Rift. So, Game 5 is upon us, as we're going to have these teams fighting for playoff position with only 8 games left in the summer split. You don't make top 6, your season is over. Neither team made playoffs in spring. There is no chance that Worlds, if you do not make at least top 6 in the regular season, that is step 1. OpTic have to hold the course. 100 Thieves need to make up 2 games on Golden Guardians and keep winning from there. Here we go into the game, onto the Rift. OpTic Gaming versus 100 Thieves.
All right, so just checking in on some of the runes here, kind of back to normalcy for the Corki. It is going to be fleet footwork. This is what we have seen mostly for the champion, especially in this matchup against Azir. A lot of players are finding you are getting pushed in, you are getting poked out, so fleet will help with that. But likewise for Crown, he did not go common. He is kind of going that scaling option with the lethal tempo, and that certainly can help to set him up for the later stages of the game.
All right. Walking around, waiting for the openings in this one here is no one who's looking to stack anything like a Mana Flow Band. Maybe it's Bang.
No,
it's not. He's got stats.
Yeah, he's probably not going to be going for that. But, Meteos is someone I really want to track in the early game. We did see, Santorin, I believe, playing the Rek'Sai earlier. Wasn't really able to make too much happen for his team in the early stages. But I do think that this is a champion that has potential to actually really take over in those earlier levels. You obviously have to hit 3 before you can do much. But past then, especially with Hail of Blades, it can be very, very powerful in the early game dueling. And when you do have these lanes that can kind of set you up for success, like this Thresh.
Another thing I want to point out as well, actually, is Bang's rune choices here. I think so frequently we see almost every player in a carry kind of position goes Inspiration second and takes free boots or stopwatch or free potions to lane better. Bang's one of the few players who's gone back to Sorcery second on Marksman. Now, these runes do not help Kai'Sa get her evolve sooner. There's no special character interactions. Just, well, actually the stats are quite good. They've really never been wrong in solo queue, but pros were almost always going for laning stats. And this is Bang saying, no, I actually want the team fight stats instead. I want the scaling option here with extra attack damage late game.
Yeah, and I want to say I did actually see him tweeting about that and saying that it's like, no, I swear, sorcery is right,
actually
guys.
correct, yeah.
This is what you're supposed to be doing. Everyone else is wrong. So, certainly feeling confident in his choices. And I do think that's nice to see players, who kind of do the math for themselves or
trust the analyst, if nothing else.
Yeah, or that, just kind of figuring out what they believe to be correct and not feeling as though they have to do kind of what everyone else is running.
Yeah, always a fan of players who are willing to figure it out for themselves and not just be meta sheep. Love it, love it, love it. A lot of respect for Bang as a player. He's been just a phenomenal player for so long. A rough spring, but I still think he's an amazing player. And now looking at the rest of his team, what they can do is it's just early jungle pathing. A couple of camps done for each of these junglers and slowly getting around the rest of the map.
Yeah, and I think that's really what we're waiting for to see, if Meteos or Amazing are going to make any sort of early moves. Barring that, there probably will not be a ton of action in the early game, certainly not from Corki and Seer. Perhaps there can be on the bot side, though, if you can't hit those hooks.
Good reflexes for Big, actually managed to land the Q in the middle. Lots of damage on both junglers here. It'd be 3 more autos to pop the pass, but not going to happen there. But Big able to start the hook before Afro connected, so trading blows there, getting the Aftershock in time. Meteos smites to claim the blue and kills a ward.
But you are seeing just how much potential there is actually to trade back from Bang and Aphromoo as well, right? Despite the fact that they got the hook before Aftershock came through. Press the attack procs from Bang, he gets his passive proc as well, and that actually burst down Big so incredibly low. So they both traded fairly evenly there. Despite the fact that you do kind of consider the Lucian, that early game champion, if you can ever get that 5th hit passive off on Kai'Sa, it's really serious amounts of damage.
Yeah, seriously is. Of course, Nautilus brings to himself with the Q and the empowered auto attack, and just got to get a few more across there, but not able to do too much with Bang just yet. Couple of hits back and forth, and we still have a fairly tied game. Small gold lead right now to OpTic.
Yeah, very interesting. Bang, they got that first push, and he just straight up based immediately. Normally you are seeing pros sit in lane a lot longer. He knows the wave was going to push towards him because it will stack from his opponent's turret and push up. So he goes back, he gets a longsword and a dagger, a quick early buy. He knows that Arrow is playing TP, so he didn't want to sit around and allow Arrow to kind of get the lane advantage from that. So I think this early base is a smart answer to the teleport. When you had that first push that you're often going to get with a melee champion. You have the Relic Shield, you have the AoE from Nautilus as well, so hey, answer that before they really kind of get a chance to make themselves have a big advantage with the teleport.
Pretty reasonable stuff. Health bars pretty high on both these sides right now, and we can see as a Trinket Ward put down, watches OpTic as they play around, and Big is going to go back to the Fog of War, and feint or actually go in through the river as he grabs a couple of coins, and back out he goes. Of course, there's a Trinket right there, so he'll be spotted doing this, but always good to have some vision down, and he's going to see Crab. He's not going to go for an actual deep ward because Aframy went into Fog. Doesn't know if Amazing could be there, so takes the safe option of not going for the aggressive ward because it might have killed him, and he was right about that.
Well, now they can actually look for this. Amazing has no flag and drag, but wow, he actually is able to just kill that off so quickly. So, Meteos and Big, I think, were expecting the scuttle take and wanted to look for it, but couldn't get there in time.
I think they also saw Arrow recall on a ward. There was a Trinket ward that was in the brush that did now time out, but I think they actually knew that it was safe. You could see he immediately walked right down. Afra was there to meet him,
yeah.
So still a good play on all sides, and they make that happen. Right now, though, still that 300 to 400 gold lead for OpTic. The current top lane matchup is going well for Dokla as he's pushing in the gangplank, but generally speaking, I'd take a late game gangplank in most cases.
Yeah, definitely the case. Certainly there is still high potential from the Aatrox, if you are able to get the resets or get some really big hits in with your sweet spots from the queue. But generally speaking, I would say that it's much more consistent to kind of have that GP, and GP can...
Oh, yeah. Fake God running out of mana, able to sidestep to not get knocked out the second time by the Q. Walked back in to close that gap. Expected the E, and he was right about that, but so much damage being dealt. He is out of mana, level 6 for Dokla, and means Fake God's in a really rough spot, gonna last it what he can, but might miss a lot of this under the turret.
That's actually pretty nice. Dokla actually delayed the base. Amazing is here. Fake God has hit 6, but I don't think they can actually even look for this. Yeah, Meteos is in the area. Your GP is very low on mana, so there's the potential that it just gets turned around, but they actually are threatening to look for this dive anyway. I don't think you can pull that off.
Yeah, and Amazing knows he's there. He put the flag down before he left and checks this brush now as well, sees that the Krugs are being attacked, and Fake God at least able to gain the XP. He's down 13 CS though with his wave resets, and with that pressure means a fight for the Krugs. That's picked up right there. A very little gold earned by Amazing, as most of it is stolen away.
Yeah, and that's very nice from Meteos. Just get this little bit of pressure, cover your top laner as he is pushing in, then be able to take away that major camp. So Meteos closing in on 6 here. Dokla will be able to reset and likely save his teleport. We'll see if he actually does want to expend it, just get back to the lane immediately, but the wave is going to push to him, so okay, he's just going to teleport for lane priority. So this is one of those plays where you really do kind of have to make good on it. You could have had the guaranteed TP advantage. Instead, he now wants to play for the lane, so you have to kind of get something out of that. You want to be the one who is then continuing to pressure that GP.
Especially considering your matchup is against a global ultimate, where TP down is probably a gangplank advantage.
Yeah.
Just tosses R into the bottom lane, and when the all-in comes through, well, you got a free assist and 100 gold out of it. So can watch out for that one, absolutely. Bang, gonna run forward. There's the play right away. And speaking of gangplank, puts it down, damage towards Arrow. Bang, actually got his ult interrupted. Big managed to play him on time, and nothing came through there. The flash, though, too auto, and he gets the kill. There's the 100 gold to gangplank, and first blood to 100 Thieves.
Yeah, Meteos gonna get flashed on though. Looks like Amazing will have to back off. So the flash not able to actually get anything out of that, but 100 Thieves coming up with first blood and on Bang in this matchup. So well played.
Really nicely done right there as the wave is in a really bad spot before Fake God. Getting some of it, gonna lick his wounds in the matchup. Yeah, he's down in gold, but I'll take first blood bot lane every time.
Yeah, that is so good. And even Big's hook coming out a split second too late. So, if he's still alive, you get that additional little yank towards the turret, and maybe Bang gets pulled into the turret and there's potential for a counter kill, but the timing's certainly working out. Aframy stepping forward here. They know they're about to actually hit 6, and flash in, gets the root, ignite down, GP ultimate. That was a great play from Big. Does interrupt Bang out of it, but then they just turn straight onto Big. The heal comes out for the additional speed, flashing over the minions there to guarantee he can hit the W. Not wanting to risk that getting blocked by a minion, and Bang, grabbing the early first blood.
Nice stuff. 100 Thieves bottom lane really has been stepping up ever since they took Someday out of the starting lineup. Remember, we're talking Amazing about that. He said, yeah, just me and Ryu being here, we just do enough to plug the holes in the team. This, through shot calling and veteran experience, it's been enough to turn things around. And for whatever reason, Bang and Afro are playing better ever since that change. 3-3 with this new lineup, looking at 4-3 with a lead over OpTic right now.
And sometimes it can just be one of those situations where, you know, it's just the kind of the change in environment, right? You know, that gives you a little bit of a new lease on life. It feels like, all right, things are reset. You get a bit of a mental refresh from that. And sometimes that can just kind of make you feel like things are looking up again, or like you have, you know, kind of a better shot at turning things around when you're kind of in a rut and you're constantly losing, even if you feel like you're playing with a great player. And you hear all the pros in the LCS talking about how good Someday is and how they think it's like unfair that he's playing in Academy.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just working out better with this roster for now.
That's the play so far. Now, it is actually a gold lead to OpTic's favor. To be fair, they are up overall money. Dokla is hard smashing top lane. Fake God, of course, having to fill in the shoes of Someday, and good luck with that one. It's not you, it's the rest of the team who needs it, and you know, he's doing the best he can, but you've got a farm lead here for Crown, who's consistently been a great performer for OpTic, and now looking to push down into Ryu, getting some damage down there. Aframu takes him to Culling. But overall, a close game as the gold is in 100.
Yep, and you know, thus far, you know, has not really been any jungle action. You know, Meteos has just been kind of happy to farm. Amazing likewise here, so you know, another Rek'Sai game where it is just kind of a pretty slow pace. The threat of the roam down to the bot lane there from Amazing and Ryu does make Arrow and Big back off, but as soon as they see Ryu showing back up mid lane, they go right back to it. And Meteos taking this Rift Herald at the same time means they are going to come out ahead as a result. He can grab the Rift, he can grab the Scuttle, and look to threaten, you know, maybe a potential dive up topside, or look to threaten something like that. Could be very, very nice. Yep. You know, to kind of continue this Aatrox and kind of push him further ahead of the 2B.
Yeah, first time it feels like 100 Thieves actually have the push lead in the bottom lane. That's enough for Amazing to walk down to this Cloud Drake and pick it up. It's not easy to lane against Lucian Thresh, but it's been pretty solid for the 100 Thieves squad. And of course, mid lane had been pushed with Azir's favor as well, so it was difficult for a while, but they found their way in. And a trade of objectives as it'll be Meteos' turn to put down Rift Herald when it's appropriate.
And Meteos is taking away the whole top side really from Amazing. You know, he farmed up the Raptors, now he's going to go up and actually take away Krugs here also. I believe he just left that one little Raptor up to kind of delay the spawn time even more, so definitely an annoying one there for Amazing, as he's going to come back to his top side and see all this missing.
Yeah.
And he's just going to be down quite a bit in experience.
What's really interesting is even though the CS difference on the scoreboard is 4 across the junglers, the actual goal difference is 400. The quality of camps taken by Meteos by taking Big Krug so often is actually massive right now. So a lot of the OpTic lead is just on jungle difference by playing through the top jungle.
Yeah, and Meteos has 4 camps available on the map right now, where Amazing has 1, right? So that gold lead is just going to extend because he spent his time farming his opponent's camps and now can retreat back to his side of the map, the safe side of the map, and pick up all those additional camps. So, you know, I do think this is a very smart move. Dragon can take quite a long time to take down, you know, in the early stages of that game. So Amazing, you know, did look to try to invest in that potential dive. That didn't happen. Then went for the Dragon. That is a lot of time spent where Meteos, you know, was taking an objective and then just farming.
All right, well, the Big Krug taken out by Arrow, trying to get some of his farm back up, make his numbers look good. Stormrazor, though, already done for Bang. He's going to feel pretty comfortable as Fake God takes some of these caster minions. Only sees Dokla, doesn't know that Rek'Sai could be nearby, but playing safely enough regardless.
Yeah, playing quite safe, and you know, Meteos even kind of donating those Krugs over to Arrow. I'm not sure if that was a forced donation or if it was out of the goodwill of his heart.
I don't think you can ever force a donation. That just feels like a flash knock-up on a Fake God. Also, was a forced donation, and out he goes.
You know, one of those things where it's like, oh, they're going to TP'd on, actually.
Okay, Herald some on the top side to keep that one going as the flashes come out. Big's going to be in a bad spot. Ult's going to be really well aimed. Finds a knock-up on a both. Stopwatch burn on both sides. Afro stunned out of the turret. Do they have the follow-up damage? Yes, they absolutely do. 2 for 1 tower dive for the bot lane.
Yeah, really nice play there. They're going to get it, but at the same time, Rift Herald is actually killed off, it looks like, on the top side. Meteos will be zoning Fake God. Looking for him. They're going to try to go for this turret of their own. And it will be a bit of a race. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to finish it off down on the back side. At the same time, Crown taking all of the plates except 1 here in the mid lane. So getting a lot of gold across the map here is OpTic, and it will be first turret going to OpTic.
Beautiful stuff right there. Dokla, I think, for one of the first times all split all year, getting a lot of help from his team. Meteos ganking through the lane a lot, taking the camp, still keeping Amazing out, and a gigantic lead through top sides, 30 CS, a Herald and first turret.
Yeah, and the question again becomes, can you actually convert that? You know, top laners have been having a lot of trouble, it feels like, in the LCS, actually turning their leads into wins. A great TP play coming down for Rio, GP ult for the slow, Aphromoo ultimate through arrow, does hit big also, but a good amount of CC. The hook came through before the stopwatch went down there from Big. That bought enough time to lock down Aphromoo and get that trade kill. So at least getting that one back, which did buy them enough time to get first turret on top side.
Yeah, nice stuff there. Bottom turret didn't quite die. One thing that irks me a bit about Big's plays, he didn't flash with the lantern to give his teammate a bit more space. He dedicated the flash afterwards, but could have given Arrow a bit more movement, maybe get some away from some of the poke damage. So, you know, a bit rough there, but regardless, good play to 100 Thieves. That said, OpTic got more. You can see the gold difference through all these plays. I mean, that mid turret's full HP.
Yep.
The other one is that one left. That is pretty much all Crown being a better laner than Ryu here.
And to be fair, there was also a package roam down to bot, which got bailed out of. Then a TP down to bot as well. You know, and meanwhile, Crown was just pushing, actually getting that turret damage. You know, Azir also kind of somewhat expected to push in early, but definitely Crown has been playing this lane out very, very well. And, you know, the solo lanes are kind of the beneficiaries of this OpTic early game.
And now as Meteos looks around for where the opposing squad is, we still have this 1,000 gold difference in the game. Mitigated somewhat by the Cloud Drake that 100 Thieves had picked up. Everything you get from the Herald is shown in the gold. That knocked the turret down. We saw the end result of that, so that no longer really affects the map outside of what you already see on the scoreboard. As 100 Thieves can knock down a ward, they can maybe threaten Crown, but Crown feels safe with the soldiers nearby, and once again back up the map.
Yeah, Big's around the area as well. Dokla has roamed down, so certainly there was tons of OpTic members in the area to respond if a full-on fight did break out. Also have to remember that Aphromoo has no flash, so you know if he does go in, it's likely to be a one-way trip. And both these teams are just kind of posturing around the Dragon Pit. This is an Infernal about to spawn here, so they want to fight very heavily for it. You can see that Ryu did go back to base, but it looks like he's coming out pretty quick, so I assume he might have package. Yeah, he does have package, so you know, having that up for this Dragon fight, we saw earlier today, Pobelter makes such great use of it, and we'll see if Ryu can make a similar thing happen.
Gonna hope so. Corki's been pretty good today. It's gotten a lot of good results so far. As Amazing puts the flag down, gets some vision. They can try to knock down a couple of these wards and take over the river. Looks like a fight is almost bound to start here as Poke goes back and forth, and the Drake has started.
Yeah, they're right on it. 100 Thieves do have positioning. OpTic looking like a little bit unsure if they want to try to commit to this, but they are moving forward now.
Dokla finds some damage. Good smite for Amazing. Gonna get pulled right back in. Flag Attack's gonna be timed wrong, but Big taking 1,000,000 damage, and Bang is on a killing spree. Son of the back line, but already one kill traded back. Both supports are dead. Crown goes to the big play, pushes them back, flashing away, trying to stay alive. Amazing is down, but so is the opposing jungler. 1-for-1 yet again as a 3-on-3 fight breaks out. Ryu running away from Rek'Sai. Finds some damage out of the Lucian as well. They're chasing him down. Ryu is a hit away from dead, and a flash for Dokla claims it on the board now with his first kill.
Yeah, really nice Q flash there from Dokla. They are able to get a couple kills here, going positive in that regard, but they lose the Infernal. They will grab more of an immediate advantage with the gold from the kills and that mid lane turret, but 100 Thieves securing even more scaling with this composition that we know is kind of this ticking time bomb that they have. Corki, Kai'Sa, GP all scaling up, and you even have Tank Jarvan, which is kind of that more effective late game champion here as well. And we can watch this one more time. It did seem like OpTic was a little bit hesitant to actually go for this play, but as they filter in, you know, it's such a good target for the GP ultimate. Gets dropped on 4 members. You're not even able to see Meteos get in range. Meteos is actually tunneling out as Big gets engaged on. And I think, honestly, OpTic was kind of lucky to win this fight. Crown had a great stream and shuffle, sweeping in multiple members, then jumping back out, had got a ton of damage down. That got Dokla the initial reset, which kind of pushes Bang and Big got out of this fight, allowing them to go for this chase down where Dokla Q flash finishes it off.
3-2 in kills. Mid lane turret also picked up as recompense for the Infernal Drake going over the 100 Thieves side. If you scale late enough in, again, this is a very scaling heavy team. Oh! Meteos, nicely done. I believe that wasn't on ward vision. He actually blindly, he saw the tremor sense, but not the health bars themselves, and claimed that one well done.
Yeah, gonna be feeling good about that. Definitely a frustrating experience to always have those camps taken away. Arrow gonna be able to grab one on the bot side, but on the top lane.
Big flash route from a good damage towards Zokal. Pop Seal trying to get away. He's running for dear life, but now Bang's on top of him. They're gonna have enough damage. You have to believe they do, and indeed there it is. A rampage now for the Marksman, but a big dive at the bottom side. Sorry, the mid lane. Ryu goes down to Meteos as he sets up the kill, and mid lane's still getting pushed down.
Yeah, Fake God drops the ultimate to try to clear this out, but it's actually not on any of the ranged minions, so OpTic are gonna get this turret. They took a turret on the bottom side as well, so great, you killed off Dokla, but you lose, you lose turret mid lane, you get a little bit of damage on this bot lane turret here also for OpTic, and they are kind of running 100 Thieves around the map a little bit, it feels like. 100 Thieves, trying to go for the kills, and it feels like OpTic is just more focused on these turrets. So we already saw Dokla getting picked off here. Ryu just wants to clear this out. We can see the engage one more time here from Meteos, who just baits out the Valkyrie, waits it out completely, then flash, knock up right into the hook. Really nice CC chain there from the jungle and support of OpTic, and that netted them a kill and a turret.
Nicely done. So about 3,000 gold puts OpTic ahead as they are the team with the better record, and 6-4, pretty solid. Well now into the second round robin, and hoping to keep their wins alive.
You can see the early Zonia's buy here actually from Crown. I do think it makes quite a bit of sense. There's a fair bit of burst and dive coming out of 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
It's also a really nice answer just in particular to the Nautilus ultimate, right? This is really the only answer that you have. You can't flash away from that. You can't outrun that. The stasis will allow you to kind of immune that knockup, so that can be a pretty effective answer, and I think it's one of the main reasons you're going to see him building this item.
He can always shuffle away or in and then, set himself up for safety afterwards, as he's got a, high kill Aatrox the top lane still, who's still got the 30 CS lead. He's got a pretty healthy Lucian. Certainly Bang is doing a whole hell of a lot better. There's a 2,000 gold lead in the bottom lane itself,
massive.
and it's about a 1,700 gold lead in the mid lane, so Bang's winning by more than Crown is. Still, though, OpTic as a squad doing well, so it really is basically Bang versus the world gold-wise, at least right now.
But the longer the game goes, I think just the better and better it gets for 100 Thieves, right?
Sure.
Their comp is so damn good in the late game. Yes, there is Azir. Yes, there is that kind of X factor over on OpTic, but it's Azir as the hyper carry late game against 3 essentially on the side of 100 Thieves. So I do think that can become difficult. Of course, there's always opportunities when you do have pick and engage along the lines of Thresh, but we'll see if they can kind of convert on this because Dokla does have the lead, but I just think it's harder to get things done with this Aatrox than it is with kind of an equally fed Kai'Sa.
And it's a 2-item Kai'Sa so far. It's going to keep getting better and better from there, I think, especially with the fact that you hit your spike before the Lucian did. I think you probably remain ahead all game, and that lead actually grows. The comparative value, I think, grows over time as the spikes come through, the evolves come in. With these items done, should be 2 evolve already.
Yep, looking like it's probably like a Hurricane next would be my guess. Could be a more defensive option, but very likely will be that Hurricane with the Brawler's Glove in there. They're probably working towards the Zeal, and it does seem like a very effective buy, when there are kind of these 3 short-range champions who are going to be piling in towards you. Fairly effective as far as the damage does go.
Completely agree. I think my rule of thumb is always Hurricane when it's triple melee. Thresh is essentially melee in team fight scenarios, so you're going to get optimal damage, and I think you take that over most other items in any case that happens. Threat of an engage means package burned, and Ryu stays safe, still has the rest of his tools if he needs them.
Yeah, and
also up.
He probably just wanted to drop it. I'm assuming the package maybe was about to expire, so trying to step forward to kind of get it in range of that minion wave to try to clear that out. But Dragon is up once again, so that means we fight. 100 Thieves posturing around here, but OpTic already starting up the Dragon.
Okay, and this time OpTic, again, have this gold lead, 2,600 in their favor with Crown zoning out the squad. It's going to be very easy for these two to take it down as Dokla and Meteos just land all their skills, and no problem at all. Cloud Drake answered here.
Yeah. 100 Thieves not going to be able to really trade that for much of anything. Crown was always able to stay in mid lane and kind of trade wave clear for wave clear. 100 Thieves may get a little bit of vision, perhaps, kind of around this Baron pit, but it doesn't even look like they have the wards available to do so. So it will be just that full reset, and OpTic can be feeling good about that one. Meteos even positioning here for a potential dive, but will back off, and I think it's a bit too risky of a play. So at the very least, he was kind of covering for his teammate.
Just safe farm right now. Just missing a CS, but getting the next one afterwards. He keeps stacking up, going towards the next items. 1,200 inventory means pushing forward to the next piece. Steric's been very likely and common as the Jarvan's Fist comes through, and that seems expected. They're going to be the dive right there. Arrow's trying to get away. Good Lantern, but he's flashed forward onto the kill comes through, and even Gangplank is set up for more, but they won't chase this one in. Instead, the wards go down, and OpTic TP into the mid lane.
Yeah, nice kill there on Arrow. I think you need to flash the knockup. You need to flash the knockup and immediately pop that lantern. He gets hit by the knockup, and he took so much damage that despite the fact that he gets the lantern afterwards, it was an easy flash follow there for Bang to get the kill. And now 100 Thieves have run of the map. The gold lead's certainly not too big, and when you count in the additional Infernal, stats-wise, things are basically even with the scaling advantage on the side of 100 Thieves. So I'm starting to like their position more and more.
The exact right person has pretty much all of the kills, so it is set up nicely. It's a good distribution for the Kai'Sa to carry. The gold lead shrunk to 1,500, and certainly doable here for 100 Thieves to advance and move on up in the record. Again, if they win here, they are 1 game behind playoff position. 5 wins, Golden Guardians is the line right now.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You know, Ryu went into the Zeal and then decided to kind of go backwards. So is Bang may get caught out.
Big one. Bang does not have flash to get away. Just to make sure it happens, the lantern comes over. They've got the kill. Nicely done. And what a timing for it with Bang off the map. Baron alive. This could be a play.
Yeah, that could just be Baron that they actually start up here. They are going to go for it. Crown finding a huge pick. And now 100 Thieves have got to try to stop this. GP Ultimate isn't even available. This is going to be so hard.
They're missing 11,000 gold with Bang dead right now. This is going to be a tough fight to win, but they do have a jungler around. Amazing over the wall. Doko trying to zone him out. Here comes the engage instead. 3v4 even harder than before as Doko does some damage. Finds himself knocked up though, but there's no follow through for damage. Instead, he's chasing into Fake God. Looking to toss this one down as over the wall goes after. Looking at the next knockup. Not quite finding it yet, but over the wall goes Rek'Sai. There's one kill picked up. Jarvan builds some space. They do at least trade a kill back. The best of a bad situation is a trade kill for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, that's honestly great for 100 Thieves when all things considered. That was a 4v5 without your strongest player on the map. You traded 1 for 1. You know, that's honestly pretty damn good. And now Kai'Sa out on the map, they are going to be the ones who are in kind of the driver's seat here.
It's not even just 1 for 1, it's support for junglers.
Yeah.
So that's even like that's a positive trade, even in a good scenario. So props to 100 Thieves right now as they're setting up into this mid lane. OpTic taking some recalls, slow walks back. Amazing, maybe in some danger though. He's in a 1v3. Got to find his team, flashes to safety, will stay alive, but mid lane turret now going to take damage with Meteor's not there to fight. They actually get a turret out of this play.
Yeah, they're going to be able to grab that mid lane turret, cracking the first one there. Which will help 100 Thieves, you know, around that Baron area, help to give them a little bit more access and safety to that. You know, being able to kind of have that safe bastion has been a pretty big boon for OpTic. With yours to fight one more time. Aphromoo buying a lot of time here. The hook went onto him, but they couldn't actually turn and get the kill. Doka was off on the side. Meteos was still in the Baron. And then you see Doka looking for the chase in here. Great flash on the hook from Aphromoo. And yes, he does eventually go down, but Amazing finds the opportunity, drops the Cataclysm, and Ryu is firing on Meteos, who is that full damage build. So this is not a tanky Rek'Sai. Had no way out there and does now pick up a stopwatch. You can see double stopwatch, Dokla and Meteos, as well as the Zhonya's on Crown, who's now on 3 items, thanks in part to that big shutdown he got. So Crown is monstrously strong.
Crown is very scary, and Bang actually pivoted his build, sold the Brawler's Gloves, picked up Nashor's Tooth.
Okay.
So 20 CDR and 3 evolves, of course.
Yeah.
The Ginsu's Rageblade has AP on it, so the 80 from the Nashor's Tooth is enough to get that final conversion over. Oftentimes you'd see things like people looking at Banshee's Veils or Death Caps or whatever, Gunblades and the like, but this is the pickup here, and he's going to have a lot of W spam, basically, right? If he needs to set up for his own dives to be the carry, get into spam W, get 2 or an extra 1 stack on your target, might be the reason you do it.
And I mean, poke is actually fairly relevant, you know, against this type of team as well, right? You know, if you can start to land poke on Crown, something like that, you can dissuade them from taking the fight. Yes, he has a Banshee's Veil, but you know, one of the big concerns right now for 100 Thieves is Ryu's not even on 2 items, Crown is on 3, right? And this is partially because Ryu bought the Zeal, then decided to turn around for the Essence Reaver, so he has neither completed at this point.
It's the same build we saw in the previous game from Phoenix, actually, was also the Zeal into Essence Reaver second, so that might just be the new quirky look. I'm not really sure. I'm not really following mid lane builds, but second time I've seen it today, specifically. Mid lane pushed in, but as you mentioned, yes, ER is done, so max CDR is on the board now for Ryu. And we'll wait to see what comes in as, I think it was actually, sorry, it was Pobelter who did it, Zeal into, I think, IE, and then finishing the Zeal upgrade. But regardless, another Corki did that today, and that's going to be an Azir turret dead, and the red buff is safe. Amazing gets to grab that one, as Dokla actually is going to grab second Cloud, so 2 Drakes in a row got OpTic.
And I mean, checking in on that top lane matchup, yes, Dokla is still ahead. He is, you know, 1K or so in the advantage, but GP's on 2 completed items now, right? Gangplank is totally fine at this stage, and you know, this is one of those things. It's actually really hard to press that advantage against the GP, because unless GP is getting absolutely destroyed, you do have such strong wave clear and such safe wave clear. But now they're looking for
that was a really nice hook. Look at Crown right now, pulling away with the lantern, and looks like he's going to be just safe enough. After his ult didn't go actually off in time, he got into fog before the cast completed, so actually never knocked up, and out he goes.
Yeah, but straight over to Baron. That's now Flash and Ultimate down for Crown, so that's the strongest member from OpTic off the map. He doesn't have teleport, so he has to run back from base. This could already be gone. They're going to teleport in Dokla, though. They're going to try to fight.
Redemption came through already, doesn't help from the Baron. Picked up cleanly there by Amazing, and now Dokla back over the wall, but Culling finds some damage after about half HP. Down to 800, diving in, finding a slow. The knockup's not going to mean enough. And at least there is one kill, so is there more? OpTic Gaming gave away a Baron, but get a kill.
Yeah, 100 Thieves able to get out with 4 Baron buffs, though only losing on the support is so good for them. And really all off this initial catch on Crown. Such a strong member right now on OpTic, and as soon as he got sent back to base, had to use his summoner, it meant they didn't really have enough power on the map to actually be able to contest. So 100 Thieves straight over to Baron and just rush it down. With Kaisa and Corki at this point in the game, you can shred that Baron. And it looks like Bang is heading towards a death cap here, looking very aggressive with his AP build, but about to face check potentially.
Oh, the flash dagger from Meteos. Once again, they find him, and Bang giving another kill away, so down to 3 Baron buffs. And OpTic stopping this Baron push early.
Yeah, Bang getting a little bit greedy for that wave. Didn't want to wait at his turret for it. They don't have vision in the area whatsoever. And does give away a big pick. And I mean, look at the map. There's really no wards at all. There's like 100 Thieves ward out on the map over here. That's about it, right? You know, this is a really dark and scary place, 400 Thieves, despite the fact that they had the Baron buff. So Bang needed to wait for his squad, group up and push out as a team, and they would have been in a great spot.
And OpTic didn't reset. They sat up there on the map. You got like 2,400 gold on Crown right now. He was there to help make the play happen. Top lane, actually, a turret goes down as well. Dokla pushed that one in, keeping his lead relevant and pushing across. Over 1,000 gold lead still for him, last I checked. A little bit, yeah, still over 1,000 gold ahead here, so he's feeling good. And once again, we can watch Bang's point of view.
Yeah, so again, you know, Bang, no vision really in this side of the map whatsoever. The flash engage from Meteos, no chance to react once they're already on top of you, and he knows he messed up. You know, that's one of those situations where you got the Baron, you should be the ones playing aggressive, you should be the ones running the map. And that is simply, you know, a little bit of greed that he is going to have to pay for there.
And Bang took that harder than I kind of thought he would. In a game where you're in a decent spot, he like felt really bad about that one.
I mean, that's honestly the kind of reactions you often see from the very best players. You know, he demands so much of himself that it's like, you're in the position to carry. You shouldn't be making those mistakes. And you know, and he expects better of himself, and I think you can kind of see that from that reaction, and that's an attitude I can certainly respect.
Well, Baron power play down to 21 gold right now as top tier 2 but under fire. Blue goes over to Ryu, which is not relevant on a CDR or mana perspective with this build, but at least he has the buff and steals the gold away. Meteos going to be pushed back over his tunnel, and you can see this turret now in the top lane down below half HP. The squad's still pushing forward. Nice hook, but that is the tank. It's going to be hard to kill Amazing. He's going to walk right out of that one. Feels safe box. Oh, I think Big thought it was going to pull him. And he was wrong about that one, so loses an ultimate.
Yeah, not quite able to get that pullback in Ryu. Looking to chip away on this turret, but with Crown in the area, Meteos there too, you do have to be a bit careful. They are just trying to slowly chip away at these 2 side turrets. Going to be able to get down this top lane turret now. Mid lane turret will stand. 25 seconds remaining. I'm not sure if they can get more, but at the very least, they have a positive Baron power play.
And Bang is actually converting all the way into AP Kite. So you can see Death Cap coming in next. And you actually look at the builds out of OpTic, and it's a bunch of Ninja Cappy and Guardian Angel. Not going to find that, but now the flash. They're going to get the knockup for sure. The follow through, the burst damage, the shutdown. Crown is gone, and so is mid lane tier 2. They can push for a bit more. Meteos on the wing is going to play far away, but these minions, as the Baron buff times out, they might get a little bit more unless it can be cleared.
Yeah, I think Ryu might just be TPing back in. Yeah, he based. He bought the rapid fire. They want to
flash for the knockup, and Big is already tiny. He's down, and now Dokla in the side. Bang's low. Bang's got to be careful. One kill means a reset and a revive, but they're not going to get that just yet. Going to put down several kills. Guardian Angel now down for Dokla. They'll find that one. He's going to flash, though. The chase in. They're going to get their 4th kill in a row, and only Meteos is left alive. 100 Thieves pull the trigger. Meteos can't find that kill. He's looking for Bang, but his base is going to die. A smite means something, but back in the base is so much damage. There's the wave. There's the win. 100 Thieves going to go 4-3 with this roster, picking up another win against a playoff opponent, pushing up the standings.
100 Thieves moving to 1 game behind the 6th place team right now. They are in the playoff hunt well and truly. And what a decisive finish to that game. It looked like OpTic had withstood that Baron buff. They decide to go for the play, though. They're the ones who try to look for the pick onto the Corki, and Afromu was there to turn it around. Flashes in, lands the ult, and they just burst Crown down before he could get that Sonya's off.
Yep. The whole squad, I think, did play this one quite nicely. Ryu, yeah, he gave us some plays, gave us some CS, but he roamed down to the bottom lane, made that one look really good. Bang. A couple of stumbles, but some really good team fighting overall. Got away from that last one with under 100 HP, survived, and let the dive happen. But really impressive, they turned one pick into the entire game. He found Crown, Afromu did, and that was the entire game from there.
And it really felt like on the side of OpTic, Crown was their team at that point in the game. You know, we saw earlier when Crown got picked, it meant Baron, right? They just didn't have enough power, I think, to match the scaling that 100 Thieves had without the guy who has A, their best scaling, and B, their most gold, right? You know, this was certainly a team that was very reliant on Crown at that point, and when he goes down, they can push aggressively to try to end the game. But
yeah,
no, I was very impressed with not only how Bang played, but Afromu, I think, had a very strong game. You know, he was kind of giving his life for the team in a lot of circumstances, but he was engaging very aggressively.
Yeah.
And this is a nice look to see from Afromu, you know, diving in, starting the fights, getting a 2v2 kill against Lucian Thresh, this powerful laning duo, and even finding that final pick for the team.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. Honestly, those openers were really big. I like how Bang was able to follow up. I liked Amazing the whole time as well. I thought he was on point. So 100 Thieves across the board, really well done. And for more on that victory, obviously standing by with Amazing for a quick interview.
Thanks, guys. Amazing. Congratulations on the win. And what a quick victory at that. It feels like you turn around, you blink, and you guys took the game. So tell me about that ending.
I mean, Ozzy got caught, Nautilus ulted, and made it really easy. Like, usually on these rotations, it's really clean, and you expect the enemy to play perfectly, and if they don't, you win the game. So that's what happened.
And a great victory today. You had a little bit of a rough week last weekend going 0-2, but you played against some pretty tough teams. So how did you guys learn from those games, and how'd you bounce back?
I don't know if we learned from those games, but I felt like it kind of showed against TL at least that we have confidence on stage, even if you're facing a better team. So for us, it was a good experience. So we took that, I guess, and used it this week because we knew that we're going to face a weak opponent in OpTic, and would probably win against them.
Now, there are quite a few teams kind of sitting up at the top. Everyone's tied for first, but you're only a few wins behind them. But you do kind of have to claw and climb up there. So in your perspective, is it harder to sit up there and try to maintain playoff position, or trying to climb up there?
Completely depends what your aspirations are. I think for someone like TSM, it's not hard to stay on top because they're always going to play hard every single scrim. But for other teams, when they're surprising at the top, especially at the beginning, like we've seen it so many times that they just crash and burn at some point. So, and I think that may actually be happening to some teams now. So.
And we saw on Twitter just a few days ago that you posted that after meeting up with some ex-pro players or current pro players, you felt like a personal disconnect. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what that meant for you?
Yeah, it's really weird. I think I'm a really different person between 2016 and afterwards. I think what happened then, like all the things that happened within my life, with my personal life, with my professional career, especially 2017 then with Fnatic, like really changed me as a person. It made me more humble, it made me realize that honestly, the pro player life is really short if you don't care enough, or if you don't put enough effort in, if you don't focus enough on it. And just seeing everyone around me like kind of mature in the same way that I did, kind of made me realize, oh, we're really different people now than we used to. Even when I meet Björksen, like let's say, and I see him, whatever it is, like it's the same thing, you know, like I'm so different, he's so different, and just like all the other pro players like over the years.
That's a nice change of perspective. The last question I had for you, I know that you were in California before, but just a few weeks ago, we had quite a few earthquakes, and I wanted to know what your opinion was, or what your experience was actually during them.
I don't even know, like it was, I've never experienced something like that. I think when the last time I was here, I think we had like one minor earthquake, so I didn't really get the real shake, which happened this time around, and I was, yeah, I mean, it was a good surprise during scrims, you know, so.
It was during scrims. Did anyone get up or pause the game?
We're just like, what's happening, you know? So, yeah, we definitely had to pause a bit, but minor disturbance.
I don't know if you're a true gamer then. True gamers play through that, but no, I'm just kidding. Congratulations again on the win. And for more on the game, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. Playing through the earthquake. Love to hear that. Yeah. Safety definitely doesn't come first.
We can die doing what we love.
Hey, but perhaps playing through that earthquake is what brought 100 Thieves to the point they're at now, picking up more wins after a tough 0-2 week yesterday against some of the top teams. They're now tied in 7th at 4-7.
I'm feeling really good about myself.
You better be feeling good about yourself. You predicted this.
I was right.
I
and
feel extra bad because I not only predicted OpTic, I have their stock.
Oof.
Oh. You know what I said? I said that because Sunday's gone, their bot lane has to carry. You know what happens? They solo killed the other bot lane this game. Sure, Bang got caught twice, which we're not going to talk about because that runs opposite to my
Is it in the reel? We'll find out.
Yeah. But their bot lane kicked ass during lane, and that's what you need to see more of for this team to win.
Yes.
And this was a big problem because they basically had counterpicked for the side of OpTic's bot lane. They took the Thresh here to try and counter this out, and they were still getting solo killed. And that's a huge testament to how much better Afro and Bang are playing compared to at the start of the season.
And this is a testament to how poorly OpTic is playing these team fights because this should have been something that has a little bit more coordination when OpTic Crown goes in and makes such a big play, but the end result is not nearly as spectacular at what that looked like. And I think a big part of it is mechanics continue to plague many of our North American teams here. When you need to set this guy up and help him out.
Let's say Dokla played that dragon fight pretty poorly on
All right, you said it.
Yeah.
You said it. I didn't say
it
that.
could have been a lot better played. I agree with you.
But this, it is a point that you've made before, Crumbs, the idea of mechanics for North American teams. And you do see at times the strategic decision might be correct, but
Like, look
the
at this.
mechanical follow-through
You
is
had
not
vision,
there.
right? He had vision of 4 people in the area, but he individually chose to engage and chose to die. And that actually was the catalyst that prompted Amazing to go for a really decisive tower dive here. This is something that the old 100 Thieves would have never done in a million years, but instead they do it here, and they end the game off that.
And this was a game which was pretty back and forth. Like, no team had a substantial lead for the most part. So the fact that you see 100 Thieves out executing OpTic in the mid to late game, which is what OpTic had been doing well during their kind of winning first half of the split.
That's what I was going
That
to
started
say.
off one player going in. Nobody else said go in. It was one guy, and then everybody else.
The stuff you like to see from 100 Thieves, though, is decisiveness, right? You see Amazing brought to the team like a level of decisiveness for jungle, and recently Afro has been a lot more decisive, whether it's on Rakan or whether it's on like Nautilus here, where these are the things you need to do to punish teams. Like, teams are going to make a lot of mistakes. You have to step up to be able to do it. I'm really happy to see this team
Look
do
at that gold graph.
I mean, the thing is,
It's trickling red every once in a while.
and it's only a 3.2K gold lead. That's the biggest gold lead in this entire game. That's tiny in the scope of League of Legends. Most gold leads end at like 10, 15K, and even in a back and forth game, it gets up to like 5. So that's how close this game was and how easily it could have gone the other direction if OpTic cleaned up their decision-making a little bit more when they did pick Bang that one or two times it happened.
And I think, to your point, Mark, it's a boon to 100 Thieves that they were able to mount this victory over a team like OpTic, one that has been lauded for their mid to late game decision-making. And so, therefore, the idea that 100 Thieves could take them down by surpassing them in that regard is a boon, or at least proof of their growth throughout the split. Now the real question is, sitting at 4-7, with how far they've had to climb and how far they still have to climb, although only one game back from Golden Guardians currently, but tied with 2 other teams at 4-7. What's the reality of them making playoffs? How confident are you now with these last couple weeks of play that 100 Thieves is a legitimate contender?
I think we look at first who do we think is a set contender and then see how many slots are available that they can take. So I'd say, yeah, the top 4 are pretty guaranteed in my opinion. I don't think those are going anywhere. Because OpTic just lost, maybe they could be suffering a little bit, but I'm just going to put the hard cap at 4, 2 spots up for grabs for the playoffs. So they would have to take down Golden Guardians or OpTic Gaming, and they just took down OpTic, so it looks pretty real.
Yeah, I mean, Clutch is in a slide now. It's 3 or 4 losses in a row, I believe. FlyQuest is surging a little bit. Echo Fox picked up a win, but I still think they're realistically having a pretty long shot to get in. So you're looking at 4 teams competing for those last 2 spots, which is not bad odds considering where they were 0-5 just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but a number of these 7th place teams can thank Echo Fox for the victory today because it was over the Golden Guardians of all teams.
Yeah.
Right? No.
No,
Over
that was
Cloud9.
FlyQuest.
Sorry,
Took
FlyQuest
Golden
in
Guardians.
7th. All right, so everyone can thank FlyQuest, too, for that victory because it opens up the possibility of that 6th place for a number of these teams tied in 7th. I want to take a look at your predictions, though. As Scar mentioned, came out on top.
We're all
with
equal, right?
That
Yeah,
last
we're all equal.
prediction. Even, but...
Oh, wait, no, Crumbs.
Oh, Crumbs, what happened?
Jesus.
What happened, my friend? You only have a 1-game lead now. But
Scar,
see,
you're
I'm
missing
gonna
some
give
digits.
I'm gonna give
Yo,
credit
where are
to
your
Scara
10
for
digits?
predicting, I think, the toughest.
I'm just
win
saying,
of the
like,
day.
The Fox C9 one, that one was BS.
Yeah, we got
I'm
duped.
gonna say that one. I didn't
Honestly,
know both people
straight
were
up.
subbing in.
All of them.
And the other one, I took the coin flip.
Would you have picked Fox even if you knew it was Kumo and?
No.
Yeah.
But I need some sort of excuse.
Okay,
I need some sort of excuse. I'm the guest on the desk. You guys, come on. I need something.
Right, yes. Okay, well, with that, we come back tomorrow with the LCS Countdown, where our analysts will be doing an LCS mid lane tier list. So be at the ready to critique their picks before Game 1. Sunday gets going with FlyQuest looking to take down Team Liquid with another bout between Cloud9 and TSM in Game 2. Then 3 more matchups until LCS cooldown, where we combine new and old with 100 Thieves Amazing and Fake God before we close out the weekend with our showcase match between the Academy teams of Cloud9 and TSM. Of course, if you're still amped to watch some pro play, stay tuned for the LEC rebroadcast where Splice versus Fnatic showed off why Kiana can be oh so terrifying, not so North America. Skara, thank you so much for joining us here today. It was an absolute pleasure.
No problem. I love to be here.
No problem.
He loves it.
You're gonna go
Back to streaming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna go stream after this,
Whoa.
right? 365 days.
Yeah, I'm streaming every day this year, And
goodness.
after this, I gotta go and do that again.
Oh, my. All right, man. Well, we'll get you home then. Now, for myself, the cast, the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more of the LCS. Good night.